Tonight, Shave Week winners, Habitat for Humanity and Y Meals with YMCA. Kia ora and good evening. Welcome to Central News on TV Central for Tuesday, the 21st of April. I'm Amanda Harper. In today's news, police are warning of the dangers of overindulging in alcohol after they came across a drunk man who had fallen asleep in the middle of the road in central Napier over the weekend. The man was found lying near the intersection of Vautier Street and Dalton at 4:45 a.m. on Saturday. He was not injured and had not been run over, but was extremely drunk. When police woke him up, he did not realise he had fallen asleep. Sergeant Andrew Graham says the man in his mid-20s told police he had spent a night drinking in town. He only lived a short distance from where he was found. Police returned him home with a stern warning about the effects of excessive drinking and the potential harm he placed himself in. Staff with shaven heads at Fidelity Life's head office may be feeling the cooler weather but are warm in the knowledge that they've raised an unbeatable amount of money participating in Leukemia and Blood Cancer New Zealand's annual fundraiser, Shave for a Cure. The official Shave Week at the end of March saw hundreds of Kiwis give up their hair for the cause, with the latest campaign tally standing at around $880,000. After a closely fought battle for the top corporate fundraising spot, New Zealand-owned insurance company Fidelity Life has taken top honours on the Shave leaderboard, with a total sum of $18,519. Fidelity Life Chief Executive Milton Jennings says this is a cause which is very dear to the hearts of our team, and this year's fundraising efforts reflect that. The company has a long history of supporting Leukemia and Blood Cancer New Zealand through their shave efforts and other fundraising initiatives. Leukemia and Blood Cancer New Zealand is the national charity dedicated to supporting patients and their families living with blood cancers and related blood conditions. The organisation does not receive government funding. The dollars raised from Shave help fund core services, including patient support and funding for research, awareness and advocacy. The health warning issued in February for Lake Rotoehu has been lifted by the Medical Officer of Health. Results of water testing by Bay of Plenty Regional Council confirm that the algal bloom has subsided in the lake. Despite the lifting of the warning, the public should always be cautious for signs of algal blooms if using lakes. Dr. Neil DeVette, Medical Officer of Health, says algal blooms can develop rapidly and unpredictably and can sometimes produce toxins that are harmful for people as well as animals. If the water looks discoloured, has an unusual smell, or has green or brown particles suspended in it, then it's best to avoid all contact. And now for our region's weather. Hamilton, it will be fine spells with light winds, a high of 22 and low of 10. Rest of the Waikato, expect fine spells as well. Paeroa, your high is 21 and 11 low. Matamata, 19 high, 11 low. Te Awamotu, 22 and 10. Tokoroa, 20 high and 10 low. And in the Bay of Plenty, Tauranga, it will be fine spells and light winds as well. 22 high and 14 low. Te Puke, your high is 20 and low of 13. High is 20 and low of dust. West Coast Raglan, a variable 10 knots, developing Thursday to an easterly 15 knots. High tide is at 12:43 p.m. And on the east coast, Bay of Plenty, a variable 10 knots, developing Thursday to a southeasterly 15 knots. High tide is at 10:18 p.m. Coming up in the show, Habitat for Humanity. Welcome back to Central News. Habitat for Humanity restores are second-hand stores that accept and resell new and gently used items. All sales generate funds to support Habitat's building programs. Rachel Sutton chats to Tauranga branch manager Craig Teaz to find out all about the Tauranga store.
Okay, Habitat for Humanity was basically set up way back in the 1970s to put needy families into homes. Our motto is a world where everyone has a decent place to live, and that's really the source behind Habitat for Humanity. So it works both nationally and all through the countries, but also we do a lot of work in disaster areas as well. So rebuilding homes in places like Fiji, Vanuatu, Samoa after the cyclones, etc. So that's basically what Habitat for Humanity does. Just making sure that everybody has a place to live.
For Habitat for Humanity, do you have a main core purpose as an organisation?
A main core purpose is basically to house families.
So Craig, for your background, can you explain to us your background and what your role is?
Okay, my role as manager of the Restore, I've got a fairly in-depth retail background, and so I basically set the store up from scratch 3.5 years ago, and it's a lot of merchandising, display, and of course selling all those wonderful goods that we have here in the Restore.
What is your favourite aspect of your role?
Oh, finding all those treasures. It's like a lucky dip every day. It's like Christmas, you opening up in a box and say, oh, wow, this is fantastic. And just meeting people who are really kindly donating their goods, and also respecting the goods that they give us, because a lot of it belongs to their families, and there's a lot of sentimental value in it. So we really treasure those items that people give us, and we're very thankful for those people to do that.
For placing families into homes in the Tauranga region, how does that work, and how many do you actually place a year?
Okay. What happens, we have a long list of families. So the first of the families go to the board for an interview. We're probably looking mainly for like a core family of a husband and wife with a certain amount of money coming into the family. And they're working hours and hours, but just can't quite get ahead, just can't get into their own home, but they really want to strive to they've got some really, really good goals. So that's the sort of family that we're looking for. So once they pass the interview process, they come up for their home. They help actually build the property, and then they've got to do 500 hours community work on top of that. And then it's rent to buy for the first 5 years, which gets them into looking after their own property, gets them budgeting so they pay the rent and that on time. Now, at the end of 5 years, we help them find their 20% deposit, and they get their own mortgage, and they've got their own home.
That's amazing. So is there a particular criteria that they do need to meet to be eligible for this hand up?
Just a certain amount of money to come into the family so they can actually afford that weekly rent. And, some goals, and they take pride in their homes.
Now, you've got an exciting Lego competition coming up. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, every year at Bayfair, Mount Maunganui, we have a Lego competition for all the children, which is run by Habitat right throughout the country. And the children go into a competition on building Lego, and there's a national winner every year, and the kids have lots and lots of fun. We provide all the Lego ourselves, and so they sit down at Bayfair and build these amazing Lego houses and palaces and grounds, etc. So it's really, really fun for the kids, and it really gets the Habitat name out there.
And you actually help rebuild homes after natural disasters. Can you tell me more about this aspect?
We do, especially in the islands. We actually go over there, and it's all voluntary, and we get billeted by the families over there. And what we make sure we actually build a stronger home for them. So make sure that it is well structured in that. So if next time there's a storm or a cyclone or a disaster, it'll stand up to the test of weather.
Habitat for Humanity NZ has 11 restores nationwide where you can donate your goods or get yourself a bargain. For more information, go to habitat.org.nz. National Alpaca Day is coming up on the 3rd of May. Alpaca owners throughout New Zealand will open their farms to the public to promote alpacas, alpaca fibre and alpaca products. Rachel chats to local Tauranga stud farmer Jenny about what to expect at their open day.
National Alpaca Day started a few years ago, and the idea behind it is to raise awareness of the alpaca as an animal and as an industry in New Zealand. So a number of farms open across the country and basically entertain and inform the public for the day.
Now, for the open day itself, can you tell us a little bit more about what to expect from it for people that have never been before?
We open at 10 till 4 and we run a variety of workshops during the day. I might have some alpaca sausage available. We'll see how things go. And we put on activities for the kids as well so that they can interact with the alpacas whilst the adults are learning a bit more about them.
Do you have any information for people that are thinking of possibly looking at getting an alpaca for a pet?
We run 2 workshops on our open days specifically for people who are wanting to get alpacas as pets. They're very interactive, informal workshops, a bit of a Q&A. My husband runs them, and so they can find out, what's involved, basically how they'd need the fencing set up and whether they need a catch pen, how to handle them, and just the basics that are required.
Is there information for people that are possibly looking into breeding but they don't know exactly how it works?
Yep. Same thing, we've got a couple of workshops that are specifically for people who want to set up a breeding operation, and that talks about how to select your livestock and what to think about from a business perspective as well.
And with the alpaca fur, with the fibres, what is the fibres the fur get used for?
Well, that's the whole point of the alpaca industry, ultimately, is the fibre. And the SURI fleece that we breed, they have just run a project in conjunction with the Ministry of Agriculture, Sustainable Farming Fund, I think it was called, and that was investigating the unique properties of the SURI fibre, and that just informs the industry as a whole so that we can market it better overseas. So it's used for fashion, a variety of other duvet inners, even the poorer stuff is used for duvet inners. So there's a whole variety of uses for the fibre.
Now, for the open day, where can we go to get a little bit more information on it?
We've got a website, www.haciendasurystud.co.nz, and we've also got a Facebook page. We're on Event Finder as well, so that'll have the times of the workshops and the activities for kids as well, so they can walk the alpacas. We put them on halters and they can take them for a walk and feed them, pet them.
National Alpaca Day is next Sunday, the 3rd of May. You can visit the farm at 1005 Whakamarama Road or visit online at their website. Stay with us after the break. Y Meals with Tauranga YMCA. Welcome back to Central News. YMCA Tauranga provide many useful resources to the community, one of these being their Y Meals program. Rachel chats to YMCA General Manager Calum Davie about the program and why it is so valuable to the community.
The Y Meals program is a program where the YMCA deliver frozen meals to households throughout the community. So essentially people can order their meals online or via the telephone and we will go out and deliver them. So predominantly our clientele is generally of the senior variety, no longer like cooking for themselves, may have lost a bit of mobility in terms of cars or transport, and it's very easy for them to give us a call and we go down there and drop a meal off, often spend some time with them in terms of a bit of companionship as well.
What is the main objective behind the Y Meals program?
Well, as a community organisation, we have a duty to serve the community. So I guess when this was conceived several years ago, prior to my time within the organisation, it was conceived to not only serve the community but also be a bit of a social enterprise for the YMCA. So in other words, help us support the community by them supporting us. That's essentially what it is.
How did the need for the program actually come about in the first place?
There was an existing clientele. I mean, there's a lot, as people would generally be aware, the older community in Tauranga is large. I think the statistics in New Zealand say that by 2033 there will be a 30% of people living in the Tauranga Moana region will be 65 years or plus older. So the baby boomers and everything are getting older, and obviously the needs of that generation we're becoming more aware of them. There's definitely a need in the community for someone to go and visit them and provide them with nutrition.
Can you give us an idea of how many households that you visited, say, last year in the Tauranga region?
Yep, in 2014 we delivered just in excess of about 30,000 units of frozen meals just around Tauranga, and there's hundreds of clients within that. So you're probably, off the top of my head, looking at between 200 and 400 different households within that.
Now, with the meals, can you tell me what the menu is like? What's the selection of meals like?
It's actually pretty good. We most of the staff here, if they forget to bring their lunch or their wife neglects them like my wife, end up in the freezer digging something out. So we do have a really good range. We've recently moved into a new menu. So we have anything from your traditional meals like tripe and onions, which is delicious, through to your traditional roasts, definitely the best sellers, so roast lamb, roast chicken, roast beef, through to buttered chicken, braised sausages and that kind of popular delicacy.
It's making me hungry. So who actually cooks and makes all the meals?
We have a supplier who specialises in this area, so we're not their only client. Pretty clearly, they do a lot of frozen meals throughout New Zealand. So we've got a professional within that sector that is supplying us. It's a new relationship. It's going extremely well.
Now, to be eligible for Y meals, what is the criteria?
Well, anyone can ring us and purchase them, but if you're asking the question on why, if we do give a few free meals out to needy families here and there, because we are here to serve, and we do that on a case-by-case basis. So a good recent example was one of the families who's involved with us, and the children attend after-school care, solo mum with 4 children. Mum's recently been diagnosed with a pretty grim medical diagnosis. And we're supporting that family with meals, and also bringing a few other community organisations together just to assist that family. They're going through some pretty hard times. So there's no eligibility, but if something comes across our desk and looks good, we'll generally jump at it.
For more information on the Y Meals program and services the YMCA provides, you can head online to their website or pop in and have a chat to Calum at the YMCA on Devonport Road in Tauranga. In our last story, winter is fast approaching, and with that, wet weather. We chat to two local Tauranga girls, Olivia, Mann and Candice Day, who have just launched a new store with a difference, and just in time for winter.
So I spent 7 years as a police officer over in the Waikato, and after that I did a bit of photography and design and then styling, and now I'm working for the Bay of Plenty District Health Board and also doing this.
Now, there's a little bit of a story as to how you and Olivia both met. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
So Olivia and I both met when we were about 6 or 7 years old. We were both camping up in Northland, up at a place called Puri Bay. And we met up there and spent the summer together on our hobby horses running around the campground. And then a couple of years ago we met again through both of our partners, and both of our partners are really good friends. So I was flicking through a photo album one day showing my husband some photos from when we were camping, and just came across this one. I said, that was my friend Olivia on our hobby horses, and then I had to flick back to the page and I said, oh my goodness, that actually is Olivia. And I sent the photo to Olivia, and it was her.
Had to get Mum to prove it, but it was me.
Have you both always been creative minded?
I've always been really creative minded. I've just loved anything to do with art, design. I made my own surfboard a few years ago, and I just love anything arty.
Where did the name Halcyon Day come from?
It came originally from, it's a Greek mythology about a period of calm weather and a storm, and we kind of thought it was perfect for our brand because, you know, our jackets, we think of the calm for you when you're in the middle of a storm. And also there's another meaning for it is it's like reminds you of your youth, the halcyon days of youth. So we thought we had a youthful meeting. So yeah, it kind of fitted.
Now, where did the whole concept come from to launch a boutique rainwear brand in the first place?
It actually came about, I was hiking in the South Island. It must have been the beginning of last year, and we were in Queenstown for a week as a break, and it just rained every day. And I was having to wear my really practical hiking raincoat out to the cafe and stuff, and it was just awful. And I thought, well, there must be something better out there, and was looking and searching and couldn't find really a nice boutique or fashionable rainwear brand. It was just all kind of not waterproof or, you know, really Gore-Tex. I've got 10 million pockets for my hiking, yeah. So I thought, and my background's in fashion marketing, so I thought, why not start something, and then spoke about it. I don't have design background, so spoke to Candice about it, and she was keen and came on board.
Did you do any particular type of research to find that, yes, there is actually a gap in the market in New Zealand?
Yeah, well, we did. Originally it was just from myself wanting one and not being able to find it. And then we started to dig deeper and looked at more websites and all the sort of fashion brands and just couldn't really find anything out there. There'd be either just a brand that would do maybe a one-off piece, but they'd be really expensive, or they wouldn't be properly waterproof, or it's, you know, you're kind of, I'm going for a hike. Yeah.
I have to ask, what are some of your favourite pieces?
I love all of them, but in particular I love the cape. It's a really trans-seasonal piece, and I also love it just because you can wear it. It looks just as good open as it does closed. And also I don't really like having my arms covered. As you can tell, I've always got my sleeves rolled up, and so the cape works perfectly for that because it's got no sleeves.
If you'd like to check out their latest collection, go online to their website. Thank you for watching Central News tonight. We do appreciate all of the support we get from our viewers. Without you, we would have no regional TV. We do post everything on demand on our website, tvcentral.co.nz, and we also like to keep in touch with our viewers on Facebook. Search centralnews.tv. Otherwise, you can email us if you have a story lead at news@tvcentral.co.nz. I will be back on screens tomorrow night with more stories from the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty. My name is Amanda Harper, and this is Central News. Have a good night. Ko Marie.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.